June 16, 1775. Militiamen under the commands of Colonel William Prescott and General Israel Putnam marched through the night towards the Charlestown Peninsula. Not only will they preempt the British from occupying this strategic position, but with cannon atop the hills, they can also threaten British shipping in the harbor. During the night, an argument arises over where to build the redoubt. Many want to stay on Bunker Hill. Others successfully argue to move down to the lower hill, Breed's Hill. One eyewitness remarks that never was there more confusion and less command. In the pitch black, 1,000 men began to dig a redoubt 136 feet long on each side. General Thomas Gage and the other British commanders are aghast at what they now see atop Breed's Hill. This cannot stand. The first to respond is the British warship, Lively. Soon all the ships fire upon the Americans. Sensing the growing panic, Colonel Prescott ascends the walls of the redoubt, demonstrating his infectious courage. One veteran would later declare, "I tell you that if it had not been for Colonel Prescott, there would have been no fight." Admiral Samuel Graves receives permission to fire upon Charlestown. The deserted town burns furiously. Facing delay after delay, Major General William Howe and his hand-picked grenadiers and light infantry ready themselves for an assault on the American positions. Meanwhile, the Americans nervously look on. Where are the reinforcements? None are coming, except one well-dressed doctor, Joseph Warren, president of the Provincial Congress. "Let these damn rascals see that the Yankees will fight," declares Warren. One other late arrival is 70-year-old Seth Pomeroy. A veteran of the 7 Years' War, he calmly loads his musket, the same one he used at the 1755 Battle of Lake George. At 3 p.m., the British forces advance. Colonel John Stark tells his New Hampshire regiment behind the rail fence near the river to hold their fire until they can see the enemy's half-gators. There is an unnatural quiet. And then suddenly, the militiamen rise up and unleash a continued sheet of fire. British soldiers fall in heaps. Stunned, the remaining redcoats retreat. The British reform in narrow columns and mount a second attack, up the slopes, covered with their fallen comrades. Despite the battle going their way, the Americans now face a serious problem. Their supply of gunpowder is rapidly dwindling. With the British columns getting closer, the Americans fire with deadly effect. 13-year-old Isaac Glennie writes, "We reserved our fire until they came within about 6 or 7 rods. And we showed them Yankee play and drove them back again." Bolstered by reinforcements, Howe orders a third assault. In the midst of the fight, the American powder reserves finally run out. With swarms of angry redcoats pouring into the redoubt, the fighting descends into a brutal hand-to-hand struggle. Prescott, parrying British bayonets with his sword, orders his remaining men to retreat. But one patriot who fails to join the retreat is Dr. Warren. He was killed by a pistol shot to the face. British success at taking the hill came at a dreadful cost. Of the 2,200 British soldiers, 1,054 were casualties. General Thomas Gage writes that, "The loss we have sustained is greater than we can bear." The Americans have suffered too. 420 patriots are either dead or wounded. The New Englanders who marched up the hill as militiamen marched down the next day as Continentals. But the loss at Breed's Hill raises many hard questions for the newly authorized Continental Army. How can an undisciplined, undersupplied force commanded by amateurs truly defeat the British?